What? Oh my god. Send this to 5 people or else. Or else what? Or else what?
Hello you creepy crawlies, and welcome to my review of The Letter. Now, before I get on to my issues with the game, I just want to say I really wanted to like this. On paper, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic game. I'm really getting into visual novels, have been for a while now, and the fact that this has branching paths, there are multiple endings, there are loads and loads of different choices to make. It's based on a very stupid chain letter which everybody used to get, or at least that's what it seems, but how it's all handled. Okay, so touching on the branching paths. So within this game you get 7 chapters and an epilogue at the end. You get to make many different choices, we're talking maybe 100 choices overall. At first glance, you think, oh, okay, this is good, because they change your relationship with the characters. But in regards to the overall arch of the story, it doesn't do much, if I'm being honest. Especially with some of the final choices you have to make within the game. Yes, it does change how maybe some of the characters can, if they survive at the end, if they die, what kind of relationship they finish the game with, starting with some characters. So there could be some characters which are really close to each other, and then you could decide to completely disagree with each other, and just make sure that they kind of split up at the end of it. If that interests you, then that's pretty much the only reason to play this game, because as far as the horror elements go, there's not really much, unless you find jump scares to be really scary, and even then, if you want jump scares, just go play Five Nights at Freddy's, because this game doesn't really do them well. And I mean, I don't like jump scares anyway. They're boring, they're a cheap way to scare, in quotation marks, people. There are some things that it does quite well to make you a bit tense. There's the added effects. You probably won't be able to hear it in this dialogue here, but they've added the echo because it's an empty mansion and it's giant. They also add some creepy sound effects as well, which adds to the mood, but it doesn't really go anywhere. There's a lot of build up to things happening, and then it just kind of falling flat on its face. For example, the pacing is just bizarre. So where this is split up into 7 chapters, they're all for different characters, which means you can go through 5, 6, 7 days as one character, then go back to the start of the week as another character. Again, any build-up, I can't stress this enough, any build-up this game has of when you're really interested in the game, you just go back to everything being safe and nothing really mattering again. Split it into days, and then flip-flop between the different characters. Don't make one character go through this whole thing and then start again as a new character, because you've just built me up to have an interest in your game, and then there's just nothing, there's no payoff, and it makes the ending really lackluster. I don't want to spoil it, but all I'm going to say is I honestly thought it was a joke. That the options you get to make to decide the ending, I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. Also, for a visual novel, don't add quick time events. Luckily, you can turn them off. So straight away, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, gone. I do not want to do any quick time events. They're not fun. They never have been fun. Don't put them in your games. Again, touching on a little thing that the game does quite well is the backgrounds all animated. Even if you're in the city, you can see the sky and how the cloud all moves. That's good. You've got the lighting effects which show up, which are kind of nice, especially when you see the stained glass windows and how it just brightens up the whole mansion, and then cloud coverage and it darkens down. That's all good. But, the horror elements, they're just not really there. It's as spooky as if you're looking through just your regular day scenery, then someone puts a red filter over your vision. That's pretty much it. There's not much to scare you here. My best way of explaining this would be if you were playing Resident Evil 1, okay, and Chris and Jill were just about to step into the mansion, okay, and then it flashes back to the start where they're in a cafe, just having a bite to eat, having a little drink, and then you do that for 10 real-life hours, then you go back to the mansion, and then that's it, the game ends. That's pretty much what my experience of The Letter was. It was so frustrating, and I really wanted to care about this game. Another thing, going back onto the branching paths, while yes, it's a good idea, I like the fact of having the relationships, how the endings change, they're based on your decisions. The choices matter, as, everything says that it does these days. The choices definitely matter. But have a chapter select. If I've completed the game, have a chapter select so I don't have to go through everything again with skip dialogue on. Speaking of, there is so much text in this game. It's way too much. The game is so slow already because of how much it changes, like with the emotions of the game. Like, oh, it's safe. Oh, horror. And then it's safe again. But the fact you have to do that 7 times, and I think the game stresses that it's got over 700,000 words. You don't need that much. I know it's a visual novel, but you don't need that much. You could have just cut off maybe 80% of the text. I'm not even joking. Cut off 80% of the text and the game would be so much better for it. The reason why I say that is because it's so mundane and boring. Pretty sure, I'm tempted to check all my footage when I've played this game, but I'm pretty sure there were more images of food than just any horror. It's just bizarre how much they talk about it all. All of the boring stuff they talk about instead of making actual decisions about what to do about this mansion. Also, everybody has got a ridiculous accent. Actually, I'll take it back. I think Isabella is the only person who you go, okay, that's a regular voice someone would have. The rest has got such an extreme, stereotypical accent. It's just crazy. The last thing I'm going to touch on before, I go insane, more so than what I already have, is the villain in this is so boring. You get to know her motives, you find some memory fragments as well in this game, and you can look at it and go, okay, right, you figure out why she's doing what she's doing. But all it boils down to is an extreme game of peekaboo. That's the villain. She's not really a threat. I wouldn't be this passionately annoyed by it if I didn't care about it. I really wanted to enjoy my time with this game, but I just couldn't. It's almost like they needed someone to just go, no, that's enough, please stop. I really wanted to recommend this, but I just can't. If you've made it to this far in the video and you want to play a good horror visual novel, go play A Spirit Hunter Deathmark. Do yourself a favour, go play that. It's handled so much better